Hello everyone. Now you will hear a short retelling of the film The Pazmanian Devil. The tape is based on real events. Boxer Vinny Pazienza failed to turn up for the weigh-in because he knew he hadn't made the right weight, and now he's wrapped in duct tape trying to get rid of the extra grams on the home trainer. Roger Mayweather had already started to throw himself at his father Angel, but then the athlete entered the gym and stepped on the scales. Vinny was lucky. The scales showed exactly 63 kilos, meaning the welterweight title fight will. In the battle of glances, the boxers sent each other far away. Vinny and Angela said good night to each other, but both went to the casino. And while things were going well for Pazzi, Vinny blew $100,000 in a short time. Having spent the night, Pazienza was not in the best of moods. Blood drips from his gouged eyebrow, and he has only won 3 of the 11 rounds on points. The only way to win was to knock out his opponent, but instead Vinny was knocked out himself. After losing the fight, the boxer lost consciousness and was rushed off. Vinny was dehydrated. When he returned home, he began to review the fight to work on his mistakes. His manager, Ludovic, said he didn't know when his next fight would be. Perhaps Vinny should consider ending his career altogether. Angela came to him with his son and said that he had no right to say such things to journalists. Vinny, on the other hand, begs to be given another chance. The boxer was sent to trainer Kevin Rooney when he arrived at his gym with a hangover. The specialist used to train Mike Tyson, who fired him for some reason. You could say they were both scrapped and had no chance of making it to Olympus. The trainer has put Vinny in sparring with a partner who outweighs him by 20 kilos. Withstanding the pressure of the attacker, he soon had the boxer on his knees. Rooney ordered him to be weighed. He now weighed well over 63 kilos, but the extra weight did not prevent him from moving around the ring. That's the first thing. The second was that he had to learn not only how to punch, but how to box and defend himself. At the new weight, his opponent's punches are much more dangerous. Vinny brought coach and his girlfriend Heather to the family dinner. Angela pointed out that her son was already close to 70 pounds. How dare Rooney change his son's program behind his back? The man had to move into the Pazienza family home and train Vinny in his father's gym. One day Angela called the trainer and his son to tell them that a title fight was on the cards. Vinny was overjoyed, but Rooney was tense. After all, this fight was for the unification belt, and by the looks of it, the manager expects Vinny to be the one. But the coach is confident that it's too early to write him off. French boxer Deli arrived in America, and during the press conference, Vinny wished him good luck in response to the boorish comments. Vinny boxed late into the night in the gym. Rooney had to force him to go to bed. It's important for a boxer to be fresh before a title fight. Vinny's family watch every fight on television. The American has the support of the entire crowd. When the Frenchman entered the ring, the locals booed him. In the first round, Deli pinned the American against the ropes and did a good job on his body. After the bell, as usual, the irascible Vinny began to throw himself at his opponent. Rooney advised him to move around the ring or he would lose. Finally, Vinny realized where he was going. In the next round, Vinny did what his trainer told him and fluttered around the ring to regain the lead. He taunted his opponent a little more and knocked the Frenchman out. Vinny Pazienza had won another. One day after training, he went out with a friend to drive his new car. Jimmy was distracted from the road and didn't see a car coming towards them. After the head-on collision, the driver was able to get out of the car on his own. Vinny, on the other hand, looks terrible. Angelo heard about the tragedy on the news. All the family gathered in Vinny's room. When he came to, he did not immediately believe that his neck was broken. There was damage to the third vertebra, just 3 millimeters from the spinal cord. The first thing the chump asked was when he would be able to fight again. Vinny couldn't believe it and started to shake his whole body. The hysterical patient had to be sedated. Tomorrow Vinny will be operated on and fitted with a It will help him recover faster, but if he stumbles or turns sharply, his spine will be damaged. The doctor suggests a less risky method of treatment. But in this case, the neck will remain immobile and boxing can be forgotten. Vinny, of course, is not satisfied. The boxer is fitted with a metal hoop on his head and 4 long bolts are inserted into his skull to secure it. The guy is carefully taken out of the hospital and very carefully put into a car. As he gets out, he hits the structure and screams in pain. Vinny slowly enters his room, where a special bed has been set up. The family try to spoil him as much as possible. Vinny spends days in his bed. Once Heather came to visit, but her hair got tangled in the construction. Yes, and it actually frightens her. So the girl suggested that Vinny call her when the thing was off. The poor thing can't even wash himself. On his birthday, Vinny was moping, lying on his bed and watching basketball. Rooney came to pick him up and took the birthday boy to an Italian restaurant. It turned out to be a surprise arranged by his loved ones. His father took out his championship belt and everyone drank to the athlete's health. But his cynical manager, Lou Duva, compared Vinny to a broken-down car and suggested that he should give up his title defense, which was due to take place in 3 months' time. Rooney convinces the boxer that this is not the end of the world. According to the trainer, Vinny will never step into the ring again. Everyone knows that, but they're afraid to tell him. So it's time for the boxer to get over it. Vinny got angry and took a taxi to the casino. Rooney got mad at the guy and was furious. He's going to spend the night in the police station. Vinny lost all his money. The dealer said he was sorry and personally drove the local celebrity home. Vinny seems to have given up and started clearing his room of everything boxing related. Every subject brings back memories of success. He's been boxing since childhood and can't imagine life without it. After wandering around the house, Vinny climbed under the barbell on the machine, but couldn't lift it. Then he bumped into himself, swore and climbed back up. The stubborn man realized that he had to start with one barbell, and even that weight was very difficult for him. In the morning, Vinny began to review his fights. He asked Rooney to start him again, and this was no joke, as the man thought at first. Vinny might be risking his life, but could his current situation be called a life? They had to try. During dinner, Rooney got drunk and stayed up to sleep in the basement of the Pazienza family home. It was there that he was discovered by Vinny at 4:30 in the morning. The man had thrown away the board from the exercise machine because there was no point in that kind of training. The guy needs to pump his shoulders. The trainer agreed to help the stubborn man, but they had to train quietly and discreetly so that the family did not find out. The boxer does a lot of strength training in a corset. Vinny even has a new girlfriend who is not at all embarrassed by the metal structure. Sensing something was amiss, Angela went down to the basement one night and found his son studying. He immediately kicks Rooney out of the house. The man is outraged that Vinny has been lying to him all these months. 6 months after the accident, it's time for the corset to come off, and Vinny wants it done without anesthetic. He's never drunk, smoked or taken drugs. He also refuses to be given painkillers. Vinny screams during the operation. He is sure that the doctor is turning the screws the wrong way and vice versa, screwing them in deeper. Eventually, Vinny was able to free himself from the annoying structure and came out to his parents wearing a bandage. The first thing he did was go to a boxing gym, and soon, under Rooney's supervision, he was doing exercises for his neck. Vinny asks his manager to arrange any fight for any money, but all the boxers refuse. No one wants to send him back to the hospital. However, Pazienza's incredible story attracts the interest of journalists, and he arranges an open training session for them. Vinny asks the trainer to find him a sparring partner, but even the local boxers are afraid to approach him. Finally, a man agrees to step into the ring, but he only defends himself and doesn't hit back. Vinny moves his neck and realizes that all is well. He's grateful to his partner for finally giving him a beating. The manager realizes that Vinny's future fight could be sold well, as it's one of the most incredible returns to the ring. Alfredo told his son that he could no longer sit in his corner during the fight and watch him maim himself. Duva came to the gym and offered to fight the great Robert Duran for the second middleweight title. Vinny's purse would be a record $1.06 million. It would be the 100th fight of Duran's professional career. Vinny was nicknamed the Pazmanian Devil and came to the ring wearing a robe with horns on the hood. By this time, he had gained 74 pounds. His Panamanian opponent was greeted with loud applause. Vinny is a very risk-taking, stone-fisted. Duran is a versatile fighter who has moved up 3 weight classes since his first title. Duran likes to be in close contact with his opponent, so Vinny tried to keep his distance, and when he did get close, he was sent down with a precise uppercut. Not the best of fights. Rooney advises him to move around more and to answer everything with a jab. Vinny continues to miss as the exchanges continue. The American boxer lost the 4th round by a clear margin, and by the 6th, he was beginning to lose his way from the sheer number of missed punches. Angelo approached the trainer and asked him to stop the fight, but Rooney told him to sit down. The trainer, on the other hand, inspired the boxer. "You started it all in the bloody basement. Now it is time to get together and do your best." The next round was a turning point as Vinny seized the momentum and began to pound the champion. The American now dominated every round and won the judges' points. Mom always sat in her room during Vinny's fights, but this time she went to the television to watch the final round of the most important fight of her son's life. "It's time to go for it," Rooney tells him, and he tries to knock Duran out. The crowd began to cheer for the brave fighter, as no one expected him to do this. The bell rings, the fight is over, and Duran raises his hand in triumph. "And don't worry about what people say,